Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 from the ESL Open Cup EU Finals number 5, week 5, whatever number 5, put 5 on it. Oh, okay, calm down, simmer down. They're having a nice, calm game of StarCraft. No need to get excited. Here in StarCraft, it's like golf. If someone makes a good play, we may clap softly and then complain about it on Reddit. In the bottom right, the two-time champion of the ESL Open Cup, looking to put 3 on the board and put himself in the lead. Him and Scarlet are tied for at 2 cups apiece. It is the biggest of all games in recorded and unrecorded and impossibly large to be recorded history. Mouse Sports, HeRoMaRiNe. But the German Terran is up against a 3-time World Championship Series champion. It does sound a little weird. They're up against the man sponsored by Ting from the great state of New York. It is Jimmy! Playing on EU, that's where he practiced. So here's the thing. So, for those who don't know, Neeb is actually so incredibly good. He's so incredibly good that he doesn't even, just to make it fair for the rest of North America, he doesn't even practice on that server. He usually practices on Europe or Korea, where Cyril and Raynor give him a minor challenge. Oh, what a... Oh! Citizens arrest!
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
He actually catches the Reaper, which is super tilting for any Terran player. You know how important that Reaper is. The only thing keeping the Adept at home for the especially early game, before you literally have any units that can deal with it, is that Reaper. At least forces a little bit of hesitation and gives you scouting information, but Neeb catches and kills it. And it's before the Robo was scouted. There's only 3 Marines on the field, which an Adept, can technically kill an Adept, but not cleanly. With good micro, the Adept can outmaneuver the Marines. And I'd say Neeb, pretty good Adept micro. Decent. He's okay. Yeah, Dev keeps shading him. He's continuing to look for if the factory now built a tank. HeRoMaRiNe, he's got a couple styles. He'll either go, well, most Terrans have a couple styles, but either we see the early game, like maybe some Hellion run-bys or some sort of super early pressure, or he likes to do his 2-base timings into a third. But here, in one of the oldest, I don't know if tricks is the right word, but one of the oldest strategies, he's going to load up a medevac of 7 Marines and fly across. And I think this is mostly in case you went for a super early third, which some players will do with Blink, and Neeb is about to... Yeah, this is a third denial medevac. HeRoMaRiNe, his general size is not the only thing that's big about him, but his brain is also proportionate. Understanding that even though he doesn't have too many options early, he's got to use what he has to try to keep control of Neeb's economy. Now, this attack is a little dicier. Neeb has an observer in front. He's got 2 shield batteries finishing up. I think Neeb understands that this is what's coming together. He understands it better than me for sure. I didn't realize that HeRoMaRiNe was planning on moving out. And, well, HeRoMaRiNe at this point may realize that he probably shouldn't have been planning on moving out. Neeb more than ready for this. And these Marines having a real rough time. So, HeRoMaRiNe, he didn't lose any tanks. He didn't lose his medevac. He lost a few Marines, but they're expendable. It's not about how many men you lose. It's about how many you have to replace them. And HeRoMaRiNe understands that and fulfills that better than almost anyone else out there. So a few Marines just to make sure Neeb is hamstrung a little bit. Focus more on the unit production than he is on the economy isn't the end of the world. I mean, look at the worker count. Neeb has 47 probes, and HeRoMaRiNe sitting pretty at 53 SCVs. He's got his 3rd command center actually quicker than the Nexus of Neeb. Neeb is now being mildly baited into an attack here. What is back here? Adepts. So it doesn't appear... Yeah, those tanks. Doing light Colossi pushes against most Terrans nowadays are risky at best. Tanks are back in style, not that they were ever out of it. The tank count is already 5. So, well, Neeb giving HeRoMaRiNe a little bit of a taste of his own medicine. Saying, your 3rd base is not going to be nearly as easy to come by as you hoped for. I don't think he has any real opportunity to break him here. He's just going to continue boxing out the 3rd as long as possible. But the tanks are closing in. And at some point, Neeb's going to have to give up this position. The SCVs may be getting a little ahead of themselves. If Neeb tries to break this, it's going to be a bloodbath. Unless Neeb knows something I don't. Neeb, do you? Well, HeRoMaRiNe brought his 2 tanks from the high ground. He had an observer on all this the whole time. Yeah, but... Well, yeah. So while that was probably the best case scenario for Neeb, sieged up tanks are still sieged up tanks. So even with only 3 out of 5 tanks, it's not gonna pan out. And Neeb kind of, I feel like Neeb was really forcing the issue there because he stopped building probes. He was trying to put together as many units as possible, but he may have overshot the mark on the response. Behind this, HeRoMaRiNe ramping up to that 5-1-2. 5-0-2. Okay. Anyways, just say the words. Use your words. 5 barracks, the factory's lifted, and 2 starports. It's not that hard. What are you getting paid by the syllable or lack of? Jimmy? Oh, he's not getting paid at all. Don't worry. Storm is nearly complete, but we're not there yet. HeRoMaRiNe, a single Marine. The HeRoMaRiNe scout. Meanwhile, though, caught, not killed. There's no blink at the moment. Neeb, very salty about that, immediately starts blink. The storm prism. Jimmy, can I get a forecast check? Okay. Oh, thank you. He did actually split off the war prism. It's not going to be a storm prism. It looks like he wants to go for the charge lots in the main. A classic tactic. Neeb trying to hold the ramp. And without the tanks in support, he should be able to do so. But the tanks are here now. The storm is revealed. Rod Templar. Oh, no! Ah! Not even close. 1 HP, 0 fucks. Meanwhile, the charge lot's coming in towards the third. Another round. How many? Neeb has 8 gateways and 2 robos at the moment. He's building 2 disruptors at a time. The army is scanned, but Neeb spots it with a pylon. The charge lots being contested by the boys who are slaughtered in the front lines. HeRoMaRiNe not really paying attention. He did buffer for his, well, for his bio, but wait, does he have warp prism speed? Neeb has prism speed, meaning he's able to dodge those turrets with ease. Meanwhile, though, oh, the reinforcements are back. Wait, does he bring in the prism? Well, that was maybe not the most ideal choice. Disruptor, beautiful split from Big Gabe. Drops the Vikings in front. The tanks in a pretty nasty positioning, but the charge lots close the distance. The American Protoss is holding, but only just. Reinforcements piling in. The last tank, another round of charge lots. The supply dips dramatically for HeRoMaRiNe. And all these units are bruised, but Neeb getting kind of spread out. Disruptor is off cooldown, but what direction do you even fire it? Splits off to the right. The Archon is on its own, but it's okay with that. Neeb is holding for now. Down goes a medevac. The Archon targeted. It goes down with the Marauder as it gets sliced to pieces. Neeb, it looked pretty good for HeRoMaRiNe to start. Good micro, but Neeb's unit composition coming together. I'm still giving a sensible chuckle at that Warp Prism recall. The idea was there, but that was less than ideal. HeRoMaRiNe dropping down his 4th command center despite losing some SCVs earlier. He still has a comfortable number at 66. Unfortunately, that fight, he lost several key units. He lost all his tanks and a couple medevacs and all his Vikings as well, which means Neeb has gone back into Colossi, realizing the situation. There are 2 Liberators here, but Neeb's Zealot will scout. Beautifully done. Is that a Speed Storm Prism? Indeed it is. This is, well... This is the liberation zone around the planetary fortress. Recall is Neeb, the water balloons and the EMP just to be sure, in case that last second was going to be too much. The Stalker's getting caught. Recall still on cooldown. 10 more seconds. This is a key attack. What is Neeb going to go back? No, he must go forth. The Templar archives as well as the natural are pretty much gone, but Neeb sauntering into the 3rd. The boys have to run. A Ghost Academy. Tech for tech. Wait, the Storm Prism defense! The most minimalist but effective defense. HeRoMaRiNe. He's isolated from his 4th, and his 3rd is all but dead. He has disruptors to zone out, does Neeb. Orbital and a scouting Ruptor. The Storm Prism on the other side, looking for the flank, but he goes right back into the Prism. Where are the EMPs? Not enough. Storms. Vikings from the north. Beautiful Terran flank. Disruptor shot. Splits back. Hits a Ghost. Not much else. Another Disruptor. Hits a Stalker. That's not what you want, Neeb. And there's nothing. The Terran army crushes all Neeb had. He went too far. And now he'll never go home again. HeRoMaRiNe brought his forces together and Neeb couldn't hold the line. Is there any splash damage left? Yes, there are Templar disruptors. But HeRoMaRiNe, well, how many EMPs are on the table? A 1 Liberator goes down. Great Storm. He needs more. Another Storm. A Disruptor shot. Fade away. Hits 2 Marauders. 1 more shot. Vikings on the deck. Another Storm. Still hitting a lot. Disruptor doesn't find the mark. Medevac's out of energy and out of life as well. Liberator picked off on top of everything. The upgrades right now, 3-2 for Neeb to 2-2, but HeRoMaRiNe's finishing up +3. The bio splits, though. Without any splash damage, it wins the fight pretty convincingly. Is there a Storm? He has 75. He's got enough. There's a Storm potential. Good Storm. Finds a Marauder. Archon, badly bruised. No shield battery to save the day. All these incredibly hurt units. Only 1 medevac to heal them. Neeb blinking for his life. Liberators. Probes. Probes coming out. They're desperate. But Neeb doesn't have the Stalkers he needs. And that's going to be it. There's just not enough. And HeRoMaRiNe holds the line, crushes through. on Neeb's slight overextension, and game number 1 is gonna go to the biggest of Gabes. Neeb making some plays, but maybe getting a little committed on the other side of the map multiple times. But at the same time, HeRoMaRiNe, you can't understate the micro and the macro. The macro, like the micro is flashy. The micro you might spend the night with, but that macro is what keeps you coming back when it comes to Big Gabe. And it's what's going on behind the scenes there. If you ever watch that first-person perspective, I've got a few of those as well. Even while he's in the middle of those fights, it seems like he's on his production more than he's actually controlling his units. And it never lets up. While he has minerals to spend and gas to get rid of, his production never lets up. And Neeb stepping a little too far. It is a best of 5 for these ESL Open Cups. Every week on Sundays, anyone can participate in any region. The region, whether it's Korea, Europe, or North America, just determines what time it's held, which is at a reasonable time for people who are native to that server, as well as which server it is by default played on. But that doesn't mean Neeb can't invade Europe, or Big Gabe can't invade everyone else. Scarlet actually being very competitive. Well, Korea in general, just getting around. So far, when it comes to the ESL Open Cups, I have a stat for this. I actually noticed it earlier. So far, South Korea has won 7 gold medals. The United States have won 1, Germany 3, Canada 2, and a few other countries in there as well, getting first or second. I think, like, this is one of my, well, especially as a content creator and YouTube producer and Twitch streamer, having this weekly content of literally the best players in the world competing, well, I have yet to see Cyril in one of these, or Dark, but some of the best players in the world competing every single week, sometimes multiple times. Like, you know how hard, it was like Mad Max out there. It's like, y'all got any of them Scarlet replays? Like, but nowadays it's, do I cast Scarlet versus Polt, Scarlet versus Neeb, Scarlet versus, like, so these ESL Open Cups, great for, I think, everyone. Maybe besides the one thing, and I think maybe, this is maybe attributing more than is accurate, but one of the reasons why you don't see Maru and Cyril and Rainer competing super regularly in these is because there is the legitimate, I don't want to give away my tournament strats, because Cyril, like, I don't know if $100 is enough to get Cyril out of bed whenever the sun comes up in Finland, like at 2 p.m. To participate in 2 hours of golfing before it goes down at 3:30. That's unrelated. Meanwhile, a Hellion drop. I was just making a Finland joke in there, just trying to shoehorn it in. Uh-oh. Those Hellions. He blocks with a pylon, but the Hellions just drive around. The Oracle, it helps. Second Oracle comes out. Neither of them able to shoot at the medevac. 2 more Uh-oh. Oh, God. It's getting worse. 7. 9 kills. 10. Oh, but wait, there's more! 12, 13, and the oracles are still at home, important to note. Meanwhile, now a liberator comes in. What is it? Well, the liberator's not coming in. Nobody's reacting to it. Stalkers are being warped in. There's a probe in HeRoMaRiNe's main, by the way. That's happening. You might as well siege it up here. Neeb taking devastating damage, and it's about to be critical. Oh, no. It's a disaster. But Neeb has a dream. He's got a whole bunch of... HeRoMaRiNe doesn't actually have any units. So, despite all the economic damage, Neeb just walks up and slaps him across the face. There are 2 Marines. That's it. HeRoMaRiNe may have over-committed to the harass here. And, oh, he shades past. Of course, it does hit a Stalker. There are more Widow Mines. This is a lot of damage from Neeb now. 17 probe, not probe, SCV kills. Oh. Oh, well, those Widow Mines not going incredible. So both players punching each other directly in the face repeatedly, while HeRoMaRiNe's gonna micro these 2 units in and out of the medevac until he ain't got no more medevac. I still think, despite all of this, HeRoMaRiNe in a slightly better position, as he still has the workers, but the oracles show up, remembering that they want to be involved as well. He drops a revelation. He has plenty of energy because the oracles weren't doing much. Wait a second. There's not a turret, but the Marines and Marauders are going to chase down the Stalkers while the mineral line is going to be melted by the oracles. And now this is damage. But now it's HeRoMaRiNe who's the one with the units. The turret finishes, but 9 SCVs have died. I wonder if Neeb will now remember he has a probe in his opponent's main. The ultimate Gold League strategy of Wings of Liberty. Put a pylon in your opponent's main and hope they forget that the probe's in there. 70% of the time, it worked all the time. And the Oracle's looking for an opportunity, not finding it. So somehow, well, HeRoMaRiNe committed everything. Remember, his starport was out on the map. So he didn't have anything from it back home to defend. And then, well, Neeb walked up with units. He had units. That's the defining characteristic of someone who has units. Oh my god. Put that on my headstone. HeRoMaRiNe didn't... Oh, hey! Welcome back to... No, not that. I mean, technically correct, but... Bronze League Heroes! Neeb's built a pylon in the back of HeRoMaRiNe's main because everybody forgot about the probe. Meanwhile, the Bio Army has to pull the probes. The Oracles are here. They got to get involved. He lifted up the Widow Mine, a key point here. This is a little awkward. He's going to burrow the mine. It should go down. So they're only Marauders, though, which can't tilt me over. Oh, wait, Marines! Uh-oh. Suddenly, Neeb doesn't really have any units. He tried to get +1 in Blink, and that might have been a little much. The Oracles will activate, but it doesn't matter. We'll never get to see the pylon. The very important, oh so important, pylon in the main base. So, HeRoMaRiNe already on match point. Neeb struggling to really find stabilization there. An action pack, but that game was only like 7 minutes long. So maybe not Neeb's wheelhouse there. HeRoMaRiNe making use of every single unit. Watching those probes die was... I am always confused. I don't know if confused is the right word, but I'm always surprised by how much damage a a Hellion drop does. And I feel like everyone in the game is surprised as well. I feel a solid 60% of the time somebody does a Hellion drop, it's like, oh my god, they just killed way too many probes. And the Protoss is sitting there wondering what just happened. Like, oh, Hellions do a lot of damage. The thing is, when it fails, it really fails. Like, if the Hellions come in right as the Oracle comes out, or Phoenix, or 2 Phoenixes. It definitely, it's not a build you can use every game. But when it works, it really works. The probe. Nothing. Well, Neeb has yet to... The cheesiest thing Neeb has done this series so far was put that pylon in the main, which was more of a desperation tactic. There was, for when it looked like Neeb was going to win almost everything for a while, but then he didn't. I think that can be partially attributed to that essentially he would never cheese. It'd be like, I'm going to get to 3 bases and 70 probes and a strong unit composition every single game. Like, religiously. But when he started adding in some all-ins, and still, make no mistake, he still much favors the more macro-oriented play, but you got to have the threat on the table. Like, you can't let players just sit back, not scout, and cut a bunch of corners, because eventually they'll get ahead from it. Yeah, Stargate is spotted. Neeb not really trying to hide it, but a little. Oh, does he get the... Nice. I dab shades through the mineral walls then. Never really noticed the fancy little sigil they got on the back. It's from the newest war chest skins, I think, but whoever has the biggest, I don't even know what that is. Like it's like a shield almost. That's how you tell the adepts that have more degrees and shadeology. I don't know. Moving on. I studied the most resonant glaives for 4 years in Protoss school, and now you're sending me out to get shot in the face by these weird men with guns. Oracle on the way. Now, Neeb, so Parting will almost always just go in with the Oracle. Look at the stylistic difference. Parting, I've seen him lose 3 Oracles in a row to Widowmines. And he did some damage, but he's in there. 100%. And unfortunately here, it appears a Cyclone Viking combination hunting the Oracle to the edges of the pseudo-Earth. It will survive. Meanwhile, Neeb, not even gonna take the minute chance there is a Widowmine. The differences between YOLO Toss and Shield Protosses is probably more dramatic than the differences between players of any other race. Despite all the Terran players who are like, we should be able to play 2 entirely different unit compositions in every matchup at all times. It's really the style of play from Protoss rather than the literal unit compositions. If that makes sense. Oracle comes in. It will die now. Oh, we got a revelation. Okay. He got a revelation at the last second. Very important here to keep track of at least some starport units. He's building the depths. How many? Is that it? Is that his ground army? He got 4 Phoenixes and 6 Adepts. The army composition that he relied on for years. The Adepts, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. The Phoenixes trying to keep things at bay. There are not that many units out there for HeRoMaRiNe, so if he doesn't have the Marines themselves, well, the Phoenixes are going to have free reign. Barracks on the way. HeRoMaRiNe ramping up the macro engine, whereas Neeb has already done it himself. He's added on that 3rd Nexus. He's got plenty of probes. This is the first game where I think Neeb has really been able to just get his 3rd and go about his business without HeRoMaRiNe touching him in very uncomfortable ways. Yeah, that's how I'm going to phrase that. Adepts will shade. I seriously doubt he's going to commit here. If he does, okay. Put the fear in his heart. HeRoMaRiNe doesn't blink. Or he was looking away. I choose to believe he didn't flinch. Go ahead. Shade it. Command center heading towards the 3rd. Neeb at 65, 66 probes. He's hit the number and he stopped building probes. It's time for unit production. He's going to make sure he has that army going forward. What? Throws me off every time. When you do the camera follow on a unit that dies, it just flips to a random place on the map. Okay, maybe not random, but still. Like... Professional. Oh. Medevac protected by a turret. Still Cyclones and a couple Vikings. Ooh, loses a Phoenix here. Very technically, the Phoenixes can beat the Vikings, but they take long enough that they have plenty of time to retreat. This time, HeRoMaRiNe scared of the Adepts. 4th Nexus on the way. HeRoMaRiNe really ramping up that production. He's already got enhanced shockwaves in production. Now this is the staple of top-tier Terrans. They don't wait to see what tech you're going for. They know what they're gonna need, or at least have a good idea of it. And they're already heading towards it without seeing the Templar archives, without seeing those other units that you really have to respond to directly, which are mostly Colossi. Disruptors, technically ranged Liberators are the strongest counter, at least accepted by most. But it's not nearly like, if they have Templar and you don't have Ghosts, you're on borrowed time. Disruptors are not as hard of a counter to the straight-up bio. Gravitic Drive on the way. War Prism speed. This game about to get wild. You can just tell by the way the minimap's moving. HeRoMaRiNe going to be heading forward with... The timing is more enhanced shockwaves finishing and the fact his production is fully online. Whereas Neeb is building up this unit composition. I'm pretty sure the scan missed this. But Neeb, instead of moving, he moves out of the scan, which means HeRoMaRiNe just shows up to the party. But meanwhile, Neeb's looking at the 3rd. He lost a couple Zealots to the Widowmines, but still going to do a whole bunch. Big connection from a Disruptor. Another shot! Doesn't find much. Great splits from HeRoMaRiNe, and another one as well. All Ruptors on cooldown. 11 SCVs have died. HeRoMaRiNe has nothing at the 3rd. The Warp Prism goes down in the main. The 4th Nexus for Neeb is under attack. It's nearly gone, but the Disruptors are nearly recharged as well. Does Neeb have enough army supply here to deal with this? He sacrifices Zealots in order to get the Disruptor shot on the tanks. Fires another shot. Complete airball. The follow-through wasn't there. These Zealots have killed the entirety of the 3rd mineral line, but HeRoMaRiNe is stimming forward. But is he winning? A fadeaway shot. Big connection. Finds the Ghosts. the most important units in this composition for actually finishing this game. Another shot is fired. He's using almost every disruptor off cooldown, but Neeb is beaten back to his third. His fourth base isn't dead, but it's essentially defunct at this point. Another shot. The shield battery, he only really finds, two more! But, he's got to try to dodge his own zealots. The other shot doing well. Medevac's out of energy. Liberator Siege is up. Charge slots underneath. One Stalker and one Phoenix. Not going to take that Liberator down particularly quickly. But HeRoMaRiNe running out of steam on this push. He didn't kill the fourth. It seemed like he would get it for free. But Neeb holds. The disruptor shots are enough. The thing is, HeRoMaRiNe, a few strong looks from these Marines and Marauders. And that base will be going down, which at least makes up for some of the devastating economic losses to the two heroic zealots, killing 26 SCVs on their own. Two is on the way. What does HeRoMaRiNe got? Does he have an armory? He does not have an armory. He's not starting 2-2. One more zealot comes in, looking to repeat the success of its forefathers, and not doing terrible. He dragged... Oh my god! What? Deja vu. He redirected the charging zealot in a slingshot maneuver, but didn't quite reach escape velocity there. Now this is quite a Protoss army. How many disruptors? 6 disruptors, 4 Archons, but liberation is at hand. The German Protoss looking to liberate the German Terran, looking to liberate the American Protoss. This Venn diagram of freedom is a no-go zone. There's just not enough Stalkers. And do they have blank? No. The Archons can't close that kind of distance. The SCVs were following to repair. HeRoMaRiNe has caught up in the worker count. The drop towards the north. Heading in towards the recently rebuilt, now 5th base. Neeb has taken the center base as the 4th. A little more vulnerable, but also closer to the chest where he can defend it from his main and his natural. Neeb looking for an opportunity. He slides around the side of the liberation zones. 2 shots come out. Decent connections. Most finding 1 or 2 units, though. A Colossus, a scouting Colossus. Just don't mind me. All right, moving on. Meanwhile, the double drop. Did Neeb notice? Neeb, he just recalled, but he recalled to his 4th. That's not where the double drop is. He's going to take a whole bunch of damage here before HeRoMaRiNe. Okay, by whole bunch, I mean 3 probe kills and he has to get out. But it seemed like it was going to be a lot of damage in my defense. Meanwhile, that the 4th base has been obviously left unprotected. And HeRoMaRiNe jumps into position immediately. But disruptor shots not finding the mark. 0 for 2. Another one. Oh, target and down. HeRoMaRiNe doing a great job. Around the zealots and stalkers is being warped in. The liberators are gone. The disruptors, the last shot. He lifts up the tank, but the disruptors find the mark at the back as well. Are there enough gateway units for Neeb? Charge shots come trickling in. The Colossus adding a lot of splash damage. Reinforcements for HeRoMaRiNe. A tank as well. EMP. Disruptor gone. Colossus still getting involved. Just a handful of units left on both sides. Reinforcements piling in. Another round of stalkers, but another couple tanks. It's not enough. HeRoMaRiNe judges that if he doesn't have another base and he doesn't have any units, he's not going to be able to stop a 4-base Neeb. It might look... He understands the scenario. He's making tanks. Very key here. He didn't have an armory. With no armory, that means no upgrades. Neeb is at 2-2. It's not going to get better from here. His bio units are not going to be able to keep up. He had one last critical fight. But Neeb able to take it. And that means it's not going to be a 3-0. We're going to have an actual series here. Neeb finding his footing. Still a little dicey, to be honest. But HeRoMaRiNe is not a man easily stopped. He is the biggest of Gabes. He has a lot of inertia. Neeb slows him down there. It did feel Neeb was one missed disruptor shot. I think part of it was the 4th bought a lot of time to the north. There was a lot of back and forth around that area, which allowed Neeb to build up a few more disruptors, which allowed him just barely to come out ahead. But an exciting match. That was... All these games have been pretty quick. I don't know, is that like... It's hard to judge. That game felt like it was 20 minutes, but I think it was more like 12. So... But when you're showing good games for the fans, time passes so quickly, you don't even recognize it. Even when he doesn't qualify for the finals of the ESL Open Cup. Probe Scout comes in. Neeb, pretty on top of scouting. HeRoMaRiNe, on the other hand. Now, Terran scouting is different. There are two schools of thought, and not all Terrans are in one camp, and not all Terrans are in the other. But some players, I'm gonna call it the innovation min-maxing camp. If I don't scout, I get approximately 145 more minerals in the first 4 minutes of the match. So therefore, those 2.8 Marines is worth potentially dying to someone 2-gating me. And then there's the, I'm going to scout because everyone else is a cheesy devil and I should probably know what they're doing. Who, while they might not have the slight economic lead, they would, or at least economic situation they would have by not scouting early, they will also not die as often to, say, cheesy Protoss bullshit. So, here we see HeRoMaRiNe. It's also map dependent, like some players will scout on some maps and not others. Some players will scout against some players and not others. I'm pretty sure if HeRoMaRiNe was up against, say, Parting, we'd probably see some more SCVs out there. But he's not up against Parting. Not yet. Hopefully we see that. But today, Neeb is representing the Protoss. He's representing Ting. He's representing the United States of America in this European Cup. Trying to crack the monopoly that Europe has had on their own region. Mostly Big Gabe, though. Mostly HeRoMaRiNe. A Dev Shade on the other side. A scouting Hellion has become... This is a new trend. It's not like this is the first time we've ever seen it, but a more common part of a lot of Terran versus Protoss build orders is, instead of relying entirely on Widow Mines, getting a Hellion early, mostly for scouting. Like, you just run a Hellion by because it drives pretty fast, and even if they do have Stalkers, like, they're not necessarily going to be able to kill it. Now, in this case, HeRoMaRiNe not scouting with that Hellion, but the idea stands. Just getting one early for information. I guess this is technically scouting, so. Give me some... It's not going to be mech. HeRoMaRiNe not huge on mech against Protoss. Oh. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, there's no getting away from that one. Meanwhile, the Oracle in the middle line. Neeb opting for the Stargate again. A stable choice against a Terran who isn't going for any sort of super early pressure. Oracles join up. Is that? That is the first Hellion. I was wondering. It came back home for a sec. It won't make it, but it does show where the Oracles are, so that's something. Neeb has to realize Widow Mines are a threat. He's building 5 pylons at once, which is a lot of pylons to be building at once. Some of them are scouting pylons as well. Neeb making sure he has everything set up going into the mid-game. He's going very quickly into charge and +1 armor here. Just now adding on additional gates. How many probes? 48 probes. So, I think Neeb is recognizing that HeRoMaRiNe right now is going for that 2-base timing. How much has he seen in the main? Oh, yeah. He's seen the 3 racks. I don't know if that's one of the racks from over here, but he's seen the racks. He's seen the factory. He realizes it wasn't a Hellion opener. There wasn't any sort of Cloak Banshee follow-up. This is going to be a 2-base tank push. And you know how you kill a 2-base tank push? With way too many charge lots with +1 armor. Up against Marines and tanks, that armor putting in so much work. Now the question will be, does Neeb have his production up in time? Does he have charge and that armor? Oh, wait a second. Stasis. Stasis. Does he have a revelation? He does not. The Viking is chasing. If he could bait him, it's a little bit of a weird positioning. The stasis could actually buy all the time Neebs. Oh, he doesn't see it. Oh, my God. Oh, my. Every single Marine besides one. There's one. Go tell your friends what happened here. Oh, Neeb. What a play. And that means that charge and +1 will finish. He's going to try to jump this before. Oh, and he's got a hallucinated Archons as well. The tanks die first. The Marines are behind. This actually isn't enough units. Like, I think HeRoMaRiNe's suspicious. Like, 3 Archons could fight that. But he's now realizing. Neeb jumping on the opportunity. He's just built. The boys! The boys! Where did they come? HeRoMaRiNe's just going for it. He knows it's not going to get better with this. He's got... what's over here? There's a Zealot already blocking a 3rd base. Neeb about to realize he's all sorts of in. If he didn't see the boys before, a 2nd Archon is on the way. Are there force fields? No. The boys soaking a whole lot of damage. HeRoMaRiNe pressing through. He's going to try to stim, and the shield battery's helping out so much. There are now 3 Archons. The probes are pulled as well. All the boys are killed. A bunch of probes, too. But the Bio army is still intact. A Widowmine gonna burrow. 2 more Widowmines. Not in. Both of them will fire. Big hits. Oracle's getting involved again. Getting chased back, and HeRoMaRiNe has to lift up. He actually killed 22 probes. Like, he killed just as many probes as he lost SCVs. The problem is that he never had that many SCVs to begin with. So, Neeb he just needs to hold. Despite losing all those workers, he can rebuild them. HeRoMaRiNe's struggling. HeRoMaRiNe is running on borrowed time now, though. There's only so much micro you can do, and he understands that. Neeb ties it all up. And it's going to be 2-2. We're going to game 5. Neeb looking a lot more like Neeb in those last 2 games. HeRoMaRiNe getting a little tilted maybe. As Neeb blocks his attacks. But first, if I've learned to be a professional, we'll continue after these quick advertisements. If you guys can pause ad block and all that, I'll be right back. Alright everyone, welcome back. I'm Winter and I'm here to talk to you about the Electronic Sports League, the ESL Open Cups. Every single Sunday at 5 p.m? 2 p.m. Pacific, that's the one. It's 5 p.m. Eastern. You can participate in the North American Open Cup, or at times that you can find at play.eslgaming.com on your particular regions. Whether you're from the beautiful country of Europe or the overpowered country of South Korea, you can find a tournament for you. Are you bronze? Are you silver? Are you gold? You might have the privilege of getting dunked on by any one of these top players. Because it's very unlikely you will make it much further than that, but technically, you can participate. So, play.eslgaming.com, and thank you to ESL for allowing me to cast these replays and make sure to support them. And also coming up, now who knows if this is on YouTube, after you like and subscribe and ring the bell and all those exciting things, and say, Winter, it annoys me when you say Neeb so loudly because I'm not American and therefore my opinion doesn't matter. I mean, because, moving on, I Am Katowice's coming up. All the best players in the world will be there. And there are even some fighting through the open bracket. So that's happening. I really should have, I think the 23rd of February. I really should have had a date before I started that. But Google it. Thank you. Good luck. Thank you guys for sticking around. I know ads are loud and annoying, but esports and 2020. What are the dates? We'll figure that out. Well, Jimmy, figure it out. With that, Neeb in the bottom right. HeRoMaRiNe in the top left of Triton. This will decide if we will have our very first American... No, that's not true. That's not true. Somebody has won before, right? No. Future got to a finals for American players. Scarlet, we'll take it, has won too. But Neeb would be the first. The first probe. Neeb looking strong in the last two matches. Neeb has always been... He's never been the player... let me contradict myself in 2 sentences. But he's never been the player who you're like, he's guaranteed to crush this match. On paper, and like if you had to place a bet or something, which is just fun in games, right? But Neeb is favored against many players. But he's suffered from a lot of the same weaknesses that a lot of non-Korean players have in the past. Where it just seems like a certain matchup or even a certain player will kind of get in his head and he'll struggle. Or even if he just gets to the later rounds and sometimes just doesn't play like himself. And it is the case on some of these series, so it's not quite as bad or as good, depending on your perspective, as Scarlet. But Neeb is someone who does have those ups and downs. He's no robot, like Cyril. And no devilishly charming robot like Raynor. Actually, Raynor's a little like that as well. He's just gotten so good. Even his ups and downs leave him pretty far up. Will we see Stargate again? It's on the table. He's the last 2 games he's gone Stargate. Well, I'm trying to think. In fact, 3 games. Was game number 1 Stargate? Who cares about ancient history? Anyways, it's a robo. Is there a way, can you pop over the top of the grenade on here? No, I don't think so. Maybe if they had a pylon, you can. There's a lot of little fancy micro tricks you can do with Reaper grenades, all of which are completely unreliable and almost always a waste of time. But that 1 out of 5 times they actually work at a time that makes sense to make them work, how amazing is that? Like, but... Yeah, Reaper. Whoop, Shade coming out. Takes 3 adept hits to kill a Reaper, which is why making sure you micro quickly is very important. HeRoMaRiNe falling back on his strengths. It's looking like a 2-base tank push. He's going to open up with that Cyclone and a Viking because of Neeb's proclivity for Stargate. And also, the thing about Cyclone and Viking, they not only, they're good against the Stargate, of course, but they also have good potential as time goes on. They're not that expensive. You're going to have a factory. You're going to have a starport anyways. The Viking itself is not a bad harass unit. it has that extra damage to mechanical on the ground, which means it can actually 1v1 a Stalker, and it only takes 2 hits to kill probes. It's a pretty regular strategy. You see a Viking go out, take the scenic route around the map, drop down behind the mineral line, and kill an inordinate amount of probes. Whereas the Cyclone just chilling in the main is a great Warp Prism sniper as well. So even if it isn't Stargate, or maybe Observers or something like that, so even if it isn't Stargate, HeRoMaRiNe getting a lot of utility out of those early defense units. And that's what he needs in a situation where, well, wait, he scouted the Robo Bay. I don't actually know what happened that he scouted the Robo Bay. He might have sacrificed the Reaper. No, a scan. Did I miss a scan? It was probably right in front of my eyes. Meanwhile, Observer just got sniped off. Neeb he's got a Warp Prism out there. The Warp Prism, the counterattack option. I'm surprised, like, Neeb is feigning aggression right now. Just being out this far on the map. The Robo Bay was already scouted, though. That's what gets me. So the Robo Bay was scouted. I'm pretty sure Neeb saw that. Was the third. The third has not been spotted yet. So Neeb being out here he's bluffing. Like, 3 Stalkers without blink. That's nothing. That's an expensive placeholder. So Neeb right now just keeping HeRoMaRiNe back even a few seconds. Extended Thermal Lance is halfway done. He's chrono boosting another Colossus. Every few seconds brings Neeb a little bit closer to having the strong unit composition he needs to defend any sort of early attack. The Warp Prism is still chilling. He invested in that early. It has yet to do much, but it's there. If he defends this attack and the Warp Prism's actually able to get some Warp Pins or maybe some Adepts or something in the mineral line, well, Neeb is in a great spot to take home the very first American championship in the ESL Open Cups. +1 is finishing up, so is Extended Thermal Lance. +1 for HeRoMaRiNe, that is. +1 armor's on the way for Neeb, but it's a lot further off. Did he get a lock on the Colossus? Ooh, big damage coming out there. He's got a second one, though. Thermal Lance is done. Meanwhile, the probes being used against the Widow Mines will sacrifice one Colossus badly bruised, but HeRoMaRiNe no longer has the unit count. There's an Observer spotting any reinforcements on the way. The Warp Prism coming in. 6 probes go down with that. And Neeb hasn't been making them constantly as he's really focused on getting the unit count. Couple Zealots in a Prism, soon to be charged lots. This Warp, I think this Widow Mine was forgotten about. It will strip away shields on a lot of key. Oh my god, HeRoMaRiNe! Oh, this is a gamble. He knows he's not up against Blink. Someone who gets Colossi that early with Thermal Lance does not have the luxury. Well, if they go Blink, they're not going to have Charge. So, and Neeb hasn't really followed up with Charge, but this is a huge gamble. Neeb realizes it's a threat, but that's only 1 Colossus. That's not enough. He wasn't expecting a commitment. 2 medevacs, okay. 4 medevacs, though. Now now we're pod racing. And another Colossus comes up. The Widow Mines connect. HeRoMaRiNe trying to stay out on the map. The 3rd base is on the way, but Neeb holding strong. He's up to 58 probes and counting. +1 armor is done. Charge lots into the natural. Neeb strikes back a lot more surgically here. And this will do way more damage than HeRoMaRiNe did on the opposite side. Already 10 kills and counting. Not microing the charge lots perfectly here means he's not going to maximize damage. But the Warp Prism does escape. HeRoMaRiNe in kind of an uncomfortable spot. He's now down 17 workers. This army from Neeb is decent, but this is definitely the kind of army that can overextend. The way he got crushed on Ephemeron was stepping forward without enough to back him up. With the Terran army able to arc out and close in. They're now Disruptors on the way, +2 armor, Gravitic Drive, Warp Prism speed. Robotics facility, 2nd robotics facility on the way. Neeb building 5 pylons to get rid of that supply block. 4th Nexus predicted by both players. HeRoMaRiNe will stop it from starting. Ghosts and Liberators on the way. The thing here is HeRoMaRiNe isn't working from a position of strength. He already got undercut his first attack, driven back, and then the counterattack Prism doing a good job as well. Neeb expanding his vision, so is HeRoMaRiNe. The army supplies are about even. Once again, HeRoMaRiNe finds himself without an armory, which means no +2/+2, which means there is a timer to get damage done right now. A few charge lots going in towards the third. There's absolutely nothing here to defend. HeRoMaRiNe might find himself all in, but Neeb fires a shot! Big hit! Another one! Oh, doesn't find much, but it doesn't need to. He fires a shot underneath the Vikings, clips a Marauder. That's about it. Are there any more disruptors? The first ones are going to come off cooldown. The EMPs on the charge lots make this a little easier for the Bile, but not easy enough. The charge lots in the main, and the third is forced to lift. HeRoMaRiNe down to 40 SCVs and plummeting. Neeb putting things together. Another fadeaway shot. This one almost hits the charge lots, but gets a couple Marauders. He's got enough disruptors to keep the army almost constantly at bay. He fires a couple shots, a bit overzealous there, but he's chrono boosting out Ruptors. HeRoMaRiNe has about even army supply, but it won't last unless he does something very soon. Another shot. Looks for the south. Not going to find it. Another shot comes through. He's got to avoid his own zealots. The thing is, Neeb has enough bulk. He has enough in front of him. And he has enough to take it all the way and win the whole thing. A reverse sweep from 2-0 to 3-2. Neeb takes it. 3-2. Dethroning Big Gabe. And becoming the first champion from the United States of America. I want to point out, just real quick. Oh, he had so many reinforcements on the way, but by the time they got there, HeRoMaRiNe just being picked apart. It felt like Neeb was getting a better read on HeRoMaRiNe every game of that series. Besides the game 2, besides the Hellion drop game, Neeb doing better and better, and then tilting it the other direction. So, congratulations, Neeb, and I believe, I'm not 100%, but I believe this was the first Open Cup he participated in. And if that's true, he now has a 100% win rate. I don't have, I'm not sure about that, but I haven't seen him in the other ones. I feel like I would have, considering I've seen most of the top 8. But congratulations to Neeb. If you enjoyed my breakdown, like and subscribe and ring the bell and do all those other exciting things to make you feel like, well, if you like the good games that I try to show for the fans, first check out ESL, and especially during IEM Katowice. Maybe participate yourself in those tournaments. Watch them live every Sunday or not so live with me. And thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun, and congratulations to the American hero, Neeb.